Welcome, beautiful souls, back to the Abundance Club. I have a very special guest in the club today. I am joined by the gorgeous Lauren Stackpole. It is absolutely delightful to have you here. I love your energy, your presence, your angelic nature. I truly believe you are an earth angel. I'm sure you know that, but it's just such a warm welcome. It's lovely to have you here, my love.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Lauren is a mother of three beautiful girls. They're so gorgeous, your girls. Oh my gosh. And also a nurse practitioner, as well as a transformational coach. So you guide women into creating their dream life, kind of like what I do, and not just on the external, but really in alignment with their values, with their purpose, and with who they are becoming. And I guess let's dive into that to begin with. I know this isn't your first time on the Abundance Club. You came in with that collective conversation that we had. So for those of you who don't know, Lauren and I connected earlier in the year on a retreat in LA, which was so beautiful. Like, I don't even if you remember, we just had a really lovely, heartfelt conversation. And it felt like, when you meet people and it feels like your souls have connected before, like you've come together and you just connected in this way. So it really felt like that when I met you. And then we're still orbiting around each other's world. And I think that's because we've just got that similar alignment in how we teach and what we're here to bring to the world. So let's talk about you and this season of becoming. This, you call it the beauty of becoming, which I love, and I resonate with that so deeply. Can we go a little bit more into that, like what that means to you and how that has formed, how that's shown up on your own journey? So feel free to share a little bit about, how you got to where you got to in making that choice to lead women in the work that you do as well.
Yeah. So, in my day job, per se, I'm a nurse practitioner, and my role is very unique. I work with very sick patients, mostly elderly patients near end of life, not quite ready for hospice, people who are in and out of the hospital a lot. So, my day-to-day work is very heavy. I'm talking to a lot of sick people and overwhelmed, stressed families, and that work is so meaningful. But it's fun to work with people who are in a different phase of life and they are still dreaming and are motivated and really want to make things happen in their life. So that lights me up in a completely different way. So having my coaching work in addition to taking care of patients, it's kind of like two sides of the same
Mm.
coin and just serving heart in a heart-led way to very different populations. So it's sort of like I'm called to both areas and I love what I do, but it feels one feels heavier than the other. So to me, my
Mm.
coaching's almost like play to me. It's like
Mm.
such a fun way to use my gifts in a different way and serve people to help them know that they don't have to just clock in and clock out. They can have work that they're passionate about and do things that they love, and life can feel really, really, really good inside and out. Because I think coming from I think a lot of people in the medical professions, it's not easy work to get into. So there's a lot of high achieving people that are checking boxes and get really burnt out. And sometimes we forget that we can still listen to our heart, we can still follow our intuition and let that guide us no
Mm.
matter what that looks like. So instead of just settling down and following what society tells us to do, to let our heart lead and let us follow our passions.
Mm. What did that show, like, how did that show up for you in kind of, going through the motions of life and then to understanding that there's something here, like obviously when we speak of this, there's just that deeper knowing or that bigger calling or that mission that we signed up to. And clearly in your way, it's about serving and the way that you serve from your heart. And I can't imagine how challenging and heavy that must be in facilitating that for your patients, but also I'd imagine incredibly rewarding. And then on the other side, the way that you're leading the women through with, which might feel more of the lightness, but also, we go through these seasons of our life that are incredibly challenging, where we don't know what's ahead, where we don't know what's to come, where, our humanness wants to try to control the outcomes and grip on. And there's another part of us, it might just be a really quiet whisper that's urging us to keep going and, to go this way. And so what did that look like for you in your own becoming on this journey for yourself?
Yeah, for my story, it came when everything was really good on the outside. And I think that happens for a lot of people where they meet their external goals and realize that it's not as fulfilling as we hoped. And not that it's not good, not that we're not happy, but there's that longing deep down that there's more here. There's more, there's more for me. And I found myself working 12-hour shifts in the hospital and working weekends and holidays away from my family, feeling really stretched thin. And I was in grad school at the time to become a nurse practitioner. So much of my time was just completely consumed with work and school and studying. And I wasn't as present in my life as I wanted. And I just had this moment where I realized my life is so full, but not of the things I want it to be full with. And I needed to pivot. And so originally started coaching people through their fitness journeys because I was really active and it just seemed natural. People asked me about, how are you fitting time or how are you fitting it in with a busy schedule to, work out and eat
Mm.
healthy. And so that's how I tiptoed into it and came into personal development. As I think anyone who's ever had any kind of business will tell you, it's great personal development. Just brings up all kinds of things and you learn about yourself so much. So I started teaching other people I was working with about these things I was learning in personal development. And then I just realized I can't talk about workouts anymore. I can't talk about meal plans. I just want to teach women these deeper concepts because they can apply it to every single area of their life. And I just became so passionate about helping women wake their hearts back up because we get burnout and spread thin and serve everybody but ourselves. And I wanted to help women have that spark come back alive. So my mentorship now is called the Heart Awakening Mentorship because it's all about learning to listen to your own desires again, knowing they're there for a reason, giving them the boldness to step into the life that they really dream of. And it's so beautiful to watch women transform through that process.
Yeah, and so important to have someone alongside them because I think this feeling, I want to kind of dive into this a little bit more, this feeling or this knowing or this intuition for more. I mean, this is so, and you would find this in your work. I know I do in my work, and quite often we're not shown what the details are of that. It's just like, how did that show up for you or for the women that you're working with, that feeling like there's something else here? What is a way that you found that that showed up? And then how did you learn to develop trust in following that?
Yeah, it is. I think it's similar in some ways for everyone and different in
Mm,
some ways. I think it's almost like this aching in your heart, like you're missing something that you don't have yet. It's almost like I knew that there was an experience I was longing for, and it felt like I missed it, but it was a life I'd never lived yet. So it was a strange heart emotion where I felt led to be in a place that I hadn't experienced. It's almost like missing home, but I hadn't been there
mm,
yet. That's how I would describe it. Um, some clients have said it's like things feel more empty when they're going through the motions. It's like it's not as fulfilling, like it's yeah, like it's empty, sort of.
yeah, yeah. And I love that you said that, like that. You described it so beautiful, that feeling of a life that you haven't lived yet, but like a knowing that it's accessible and available to you. And
Mhm.
when we look at quantum physics, this is what's happening, right? Like there is that parallel reality, the you who is living on that timeline.
You're
And
remembering something.
yeah, yeah, and it is, right? It's a remembering, and you also spoke of that emptiness, like that which I think is that calling back to remember that we are whole, like that calling back to wholeness. So this is the process of, we say becoming, we say it's that process of becoming, that coming home to our wholeness, and really what we're looking at is probably this stripping away and the unbecoming. What could you speak to around that for you, and how you've learned to embrace these seasons when we are in our becoming, when we are in our preparation, not just the harvest, right? Like we've learned to really celebrate the harvest, the success, the milestones, the status, the external, right? The external things, but we often overlook, like we're not taught to really savor those in between seasons, which is
Yes,
where the magic happens. When
it
the
is,
seed
isn't
is
it?
germinating in the soil and in the darkness, like how can we start to fall in love? Because it's the thing that I think most of us, we just move through and we want to get out of because it's uncomfortable, because we don't know.
So I want to give one more practical tip for the last question, just how do you know? I think jealousy can be a great indicator.
Mm.
I think jealousy gets a bad rap, and it can be negative, but I think if we use it as a tool, you're not going to be jealous of someone if they have something you don't want. So a lot of times, if you are jealous of people who are working from home or traveling or becoming an author, notice what you find yourself feeling jealous about because that's a really good indicator that you want that thing.
I love that. I love that. It's like our triggers are doorways when we allow it, right?
Just use it as a tool. And to get to your next question about the season of preparation and becoming, I feel like I'm in that all over again now because when I started this journey and started coaching, I had this big vision and I was doing a lot of the external um, mindset things that you learn to do. I was journaling and writing affirmations and doing vision boards and a lot of the external, not really understanding the energetics behind it. And the life I have now is that journal come to life. It's just
Mm.
amazing to be here thinking this used to live on the pages of my journal, and I had no idea what I was doing when I was, learning to manifest, trying to understand a process, not knowing the energetic spiritual side at all and going through the motions of that. But seeing all this come to fruition where I have complete control over my schedule and I have flexibility and I'm present with my kids and I make a good income and we're able to travel when we want and I'm able to teach and speak and lead. It's amazing. And I feel like I'm living kind of at a growth edge. It's like this is as far as I could see.
Um,
And so I'm
mm.
in this season again where I feel like I am so grateful, but almost longing for, like, I know I didn't come this far to only come this far. I know
Yeah.
that there's more. I know there's a next season to step into. So the work I'm in now is really about expanding my capacity and leaning into the unknown all over again. So it's part of me. I'm aware now this is our ego and how it pops up. When you had asked me to come to the podcast, I thought about declining because I don't have anything flashy to share about. I'm not publishing a book and I don't have a brand new program. I'm in my own work right now. And I thought, I mean, how selfish of me to not talk about that. I mean,
Yeah.
people need this kind of conversation where it's not just the shiny medals on the wall. It's this is the work, this is the life, this is the seasons that we're in sometimes. And it doesn't make it less beautiful. It doesn't make it less meaningful. It doesn't make what we have to share less valuable. It's just it's life. It's the becoming and it's good.
And if anything, and I'm so glad you said that because this is where your authenticity comes through and your relatability because so many, like if I was to say to all the listeners who are listening to this all around the world, like raise your hand right now if you can relate
You're
to
on the
this
journey.
season of becoming and of preparation and of like collectively, like individually we're going through this, but collectively on a global scale, we are moving through this right now.
I
We are
feel
being
it.
asked, yeah, we are being asked to up level. And we have come here for this time. And of course, in the up leveling, we're going to meet, like I love that you spoke about, we're meeting the growth edge. We're meeting that glass ceiling. And I can relate to what you're saying so much. And there's not that finite point where our soul goes, that's it, it's done, right?
I've made
Because
it.
no, our nature is expansion. Like that is what we're here for. And, I think it's really important as well. Like you and I work primarily with women, but for women to understand how important their dreams are, like
Yes.
how sacred that call for more. And I don't think we can ever speak to this enough because our conditioning wants to pull us back into the familiar, right? Into the Lauren or the Amy 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And it doesn't necessarily feel safe in this becoming. And you speak about, that this expanding your capacity. So when you talk about maybe some of the things that you have manifested in your life, speak about who you've become, like, and how that is really the cake and everything else is the icing and the decorations and all of that. But where would you be without the actual cake?
Yeah, it's so interesting to be in this phase now and think back to when I was in this phase last time and how different it feels inside. And I always talk with my clients, the internal transformation, it's harder to show
Mm.
tangibly, but it's the most important thing is how you feel in your day to day, because that's all we ever have is our present day. And it's so much about who we're becoming because in the early days when I was putting intention behind what I wanted to create, I would feel so excited when the thing would show up because I felt like
Yeah.
I did it. I was like proud of myself for doing the work the right way. And now when we think about manifesting, right, we're manifesting all the time. We're putting intention into our life. Our subconscious is driving us. Things are coming into our reality that we are creating all the time. We're doing it all the time. But now when you feel something lock in energetically, you know it's done. You know it's done. So then when it
Mm.
comes about externally, you're like, not that you're not happy, you're pleased, of course, but you knew that already.
It's like that, of course. It's that, of course,
Yes, it's
energy,
like
isn't it?
you're
Right?
happy, but you're like, of course it did. I felt it already. I knew it was done. So there are up levels like that where the experience is completely different. But I think because I've taken the small moments to actually do my breath work and meditation and been present with my kids to really see them and enjoy them and laugh with my spouse. It's all about these tiny moments
Yeah.
where we're just aware, bringing our awareness to the beautiful life that's in front of us every single day and not missing it.
Mm.
Because, especially, I'm in a season with young children, so I'm so aware how fast time is going. It's like sand through your fingers. And I think also because I work in healthcare, I just see sad situations all the time.
Yeah.
Because of that, I have such a beautiful perspective that life is fragile, but that's what makes it so good. And I
Mm.
don't want to miss the little moments. I don't want to focus on the wrong things. I want it to be meaningful and messy and beautiful.
So beautiful. I think that it would just give you so much perspective. And I know we've spoken about this before with you when you were on the podcast last time, because I just see you having so much to give and to offer, so much unconditional love that flows through you into your work. How have you, in your season of becoming, had to learn? Because I know, you're likely like me, an empath as well, like to learn to establish the necessary boundaries and understanding, and bringing back your power. Like, how has that shown up for you? Because I think that that's just popped in. It feels like that's important to talk to as well in this journey.
I think the physical boundaries and the energetic boundaries are both important. And I talk a lot about this with my clients to teach them because as women and healthcare providers, especially, feel like anyone in these service-based fields and women, mothers, we give and give and give until there is nothing left. And for whatever reason, we feel selfish to put ourselves first and fill our own cup, even though we know that is what we're supposed to do. It takes practice to
Mm.
get into that habit to actually do it. For me, it was very uncomfortable to fill my own cup and practice self-care. It does take practice time after time to learn how to do that more comfortably and again
And what did
expanding.
that look like? Like, what did that look like for you practically, for your own filling of your cup and your own self-care?
Asking for help.
Mm.
I think I used to try to do everything, and I hit a breaking point a few years ago where I just realized there is no award for being the most stretched thin person on the planet. No, no
Amen.
one's coming to give me an award.
Yeah, yeah.
And so just realizing there are people in our corners who want to help us. And it's so common to just say, oh, no, 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 I got it. It's like, let someone hold the door. Let someone pick something up. Let someone bring dinner or cook you dinner. Let people help you and accepting that. And if they're not offering, learn to ask because
Mm.
we can't do it all and we shouldn't do it all. And we want to be operating from a place where we have something to pour out to the people we love. So even little things, with my spouse telling my husband, like, I need you to do the dishes. I hate doing them. And it's on my mind, it weighs on me. I want a clean kitchen. I don't want to clean it. I need you to do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he does. And it's wonderful to have a clean kitchen all the time. And he just does it. And I'm very blessed. But little things like that, just speaking up for the things that are draining you and see how can I do this differently is a big one. And energetically, I literally have to imagine a bubble around me sometimes
Yeah.
because of the situations I'm in, um, just the heavy energy, the hard circumstances. I want to be able to bring light to it, but I don't want it to dim my light while I'm there. So I truly imagine before I go into a home or into the hospital, I'll envision like this is my space and I can go into the space without being contaminated by it. And that's
Yeah.
sort of what I envision energetically, just I can protect my own peace. And sometimes sometimes you do obviously bring things home with you, but having practices to decompress, whether that's 5 minutes in the car where you let yourself cry or listen to music to shake the mood off or go for a walk, do what you need to do to leave things
Mm.
outside of your own space and not take with you.
It's so important. And it's interesting because when we talk about abundance and manifestation, and I'll often talk to people about they're wanting to say, let's bring in more financial abundance, we'll bring in the opportunities of the clients, but they're still not in that place of receivership, like you spoke about, like being able to receive, like allow someone to give to you. It's like the universe is going, here, you're not even taking what we're like, somebody is offering to help you, and you're in your conditioning or in your thinking, like, and I know I was this, like, I was the person that felt like I could do it all
Yeah.
and I needed to do it all. I had this feeling of like being in the womb and thinking that I could grow myself, right? And I think that for many entrepreneurs that choose this journey, it's just this feeling of like, I will do it all. I'll do it all for me and I will do it all for everyone else, not realizing that that is blocking off our feminine channel of receptivity. How can life give to us if we are not able to receive what is here already in our field, wanting to come in and wanting to show up? So I'm glad that you mentioned that because I think that that is so important.
Yeah, and I'd be lying to say that I have this mastered. It's still something I'm stepping out of, coming from a high achieving family and trying to do all the things. And like you said, we feel like we can do it all. And I am proud to be able to hold a lot and do a lot, but it doesn't mean we have to, and it doesn't have to feel bad. So a big thing I do is being aware of what's on my plate, on my mind, and then prioritizing to see what do I actually need to do, what can I delegate, what can be moved for later, what can be eliminated,
Mm,
and then making time to really rest. I think as women, we need
mm,
to honor that. It'll disrupt so many things if we just try to push through all the time. So honoring our physical bodies, resting when we need to, giving ourselves time to decompress. It's
mm,
so
mm.
important.
So you mentioned being at this place in your life where you can look back and go like, well, everything that was on my vision board or in my journal, it's here and it's come true. And now I'm on this precipice of going like, what is next? What is the more that is now calling me? What did you find were the tools or the practices that helped you to get to where you are that you feel you would definitely anchor into in this next phase? Like it's the non-negotiables for you. And maybe that's not any of the tools and more of the embodiment, but what do you feel for you is knowing what you've been through that are your kind of like, these are my go-to things?
Yeah. Thankfully, like you said, I've been through this before and I've literally created a program to walk people through this and I
Mm.
use my own program. I
Yeah.
mean, I created
Yeah.
it for me because these things were working and then I saw it working in other people. So I genuinely go back to the things that worked before. And it starts with really loving yourself where you are, coming from a place of
Mm.
full self-love and so much appreciation for the woman that is standing here today. She has been through so much. She's so strong. She deserves the world. And just showering yourself with love because you're brave enough to step up to say, I want to put in the work and get to a new place.
Mm.
I have so much respect for people who raise their hand and say, I want to step into something more. So honoring that is huge. And then getting clear on the vision. Where are you going? It's like plugging in a GPS, right? If we know where we're starting and we want to get somewhere, we don't just start wandering. You type in the address and then it tells you the route. So
Yeah.
starting place, where am I now? Where am I going? So sitting with yourself, getting clear on what do I actually want? And for me now, the biggest shift is who do I want to be? How do I want to feel?
Yeah.
And then what life would support that. So it's so much less about the external check boxes and so much more about, all right, if I am the woman that I am so proud of and the woman I want to become, what does her life look like?
Yeah.
What does she eat? What does she wear? Where does she go? How does she contribute to the world? How is she serving? How is she showing up?
Mm.
So getting clear on that vision and then rooting back into that constantly to think about if that was true, how would I show up today? What decisions would I be making? And this really helps us release our grip on the outcome because if we're certain it's handled and done, there's no pressure. You can't mess up.
Yeah.
So it really helps you release the attachment and holding tightly to things, which energetically we know that's how things will play out that much faster in the 3D. So it just, if you know it's done, how would you act today? Who would you show up
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that in itself, if you did nothing else, right? Like, I think quite often we get consumed in ticking off the boxes and feeling like we need to do a whole checklist of things and tools. And you and I have both probably come from that world where we're focused a lot on the external tools and practices. All of that being great as tools, but all of it is to simply to bring you into attunement with who you are and who you're becoming. And it becomes lesser about doing the thing and more about, as you said, who am I? Who am I becoming? Who is that me? Who is that version of me? But the power of knowing that it's done and living as that is like, I feel like if I could only give one piece, like if there's just one thing for you, it's like knowing it, trusting that that dream, trusting that more is a calling from your soul. Trusting, as you said, that desire that might be showing up in observing somebody else's life and going, I so want that. I'm jealous of that. It's because that's the potential in you. That's the soul calling you towards that, right? Like if somebody's, I don't know, traveling around the world, or somebody is like taking a ship and deciding to go on a solo cruise around the world, like I know that I'm not jealous of that because I know that's not in my future,
Exactly.
right? It's like great, I'm so happy for you, but there's no part of me. But
And
what is it?
I'm sure you experience this with your clients too. Have you ever had someone come to you and say the exact same desires on their heart as another client?
It's unique, it's
No
so
two
unique.
people are dreaming up the same life.
Mm, mm,
And that's how I just have so much faith that what is on our heart is specific to us and it's meant for us because
yeah,
it's so unique every time.
yeah,
Like I have no desire to open a bakery or become a photographer or you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yep.
So
Or
just
to make clothes, or to
yeah,
like,
I want people to trust that if you because sometimes when we're in those niches, but
yeah,
when we're
niche.
when we're in our lane, right? Especially with social media and the algorithm, we see so much of the same thing. So we think everyone's doing it. We think
Mm.
everyone has it. We think everyone's farther along than us. And it's so easy to compare and it can be intimidating and demoralizing. But your version's different and it's on your heart for a reason.
And it's not just for you either, right? Like the people that hold themselves back because they think that that's just for them or that they're doing it alone. Like you have a whole plethora of people that you are here to serve and influence through your embodiment, through you saying yes to that desire that's on your heart. It's so much bigger than ourselves, and I don't know if you've had this feeling before, Lauren, in because you spoke about, this journey of personal growth, this journey of entrepreneurship is like personal growth on steroids. So it's really, it challenges you to the core. You can't hide from yourself when you say yes to this journey. And there can be times, I know I have felt times, and I'd love for you to share if you have as well, where you just feel like, I don't think I can do this. I need to
Yeah.
throw in the towel, right? I'm just going to go and get a job at a clothes store or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but whatever, get a job at a bakery.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is. And when I've really sat with that, and this for anyone listening to this, like just try this on for a moment. The idea of letting that go, not doing that, not saying yes to that calling. And for me, it felt like I'd be saying no to my assignment, to my mission. And when I leave here and go back into spirit and reconnect with my soul team, I'd be like, no judgment at all because it's all loving. Like, yeah, I didn't quite this time. I didn't quite say yes to it, but I'll do it next time, right? And it's that deep, deep calling, and it's a great practice to just sit with that for a moment. What would the no feel like for you if you didn't do it? And sometimes when we do that, it's like, oh, I know that this is bigger than me. This is bigger than me.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that before?
I have, and I just imagine, I mean, the people that listen to your podcast and are in your world, imagine if Amy did not show up and do her work in this world. Imagine if she didn't say yes to this call. I just think of the beautiful ripple effect you've created in your
Mm.
work.
Mm.
And what a great example to your audience that, I mean, when you say yes and you trust the call, it plays out so beautifully and you impact so many. So thank you for your work. It's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you for saying that. On that, it's like you can say yes, I can say yes to this, but we are partnering all the time with the divine. We are partnering with it. And this is what I love to remind people of as well, is that you are not doing this alone. Like if you have that call, you need to trust that you actually have a whole team of support and the energy of the creator and the divine that is moving through you that can orchestrate things beyond your logical comprehension. And all you need to do right now is follow that nudge and take that
Mhm.
little half step and say yes, even if your voice shakes, even if your knees wobble, like we're not going to be free of all of the self doubt and the criticism. And as you said so beautifully, Lauren, which I love, it's like, can you love yourself through it? Like, can you really love and nourish yourself through it? And I just think that's so beautiful because what you're speaking to is that acceptance of what is. Quite often
And
we try to
for
shift out of that.
people, yeah, when they jump, they'll be caught. There will always be a next step, even if you can't see the whole road lit up in front of you. It's I'm imagining, I forget where this is even from. It might have been a reel I watched or something, but it was basically asking, if people were watching the movie version of your life, like what would they be screaming at the screen for you to do already?
Yeah.
It's like, what would be so obvious to the audience? Like, just do it. And I think for me, it's easy to put in perspective because I see people near end of life day in and day out. And so
Yeah.
they're, sharing their wisdom and what's most important. And I'm in that perspective constantly that I don't want to get to the end of my life, no matter if that's next week or 100 years from now, and have regret that I played it safe, that I didn't live
Mm.
the life I felt called to, that I let fear win, right? And something you had shared when we met at the retreat that really stuck with me, you were talking about our sense of safety. And it's so common in our culture and society to think having a job that we clock into is stable and secure. And you were challenging that how is that a sense of safety if, the job could go away tomorrow, the company could go under, you could get fired. How is that safe? And why are we putting so much of our safety and outsourcing that to an employer where, if you got fired, does that mean you're not
Safe.
safe?
Yeah.
You had said that, and it's something I knew, but it really hit me like, wow, like that is so powerful to think of it that way. Where does our safety come from?
Yeah.
And how is trusting your intuition and trusting God and where He's leading you not the safest thing in the world?
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing all of that. And I've met with people, I've coached people that have numerous houses that have huge amounts of money in the bank. And they don't feel safe.
Mhm.
They don't feel safe. And they can even honor that no amount of money, no amount of property would actually make them feel safe. So we know, right? That whole theory is debunked right there. The
Mhm.
safest people in the world aren't the ones. It's where does your safety lie? So I love that. And I'm interested to know, Lauren, because it's such a unique thing that you midwife people through, that you facilitate people through those final days. What are some of the things that you feel are so powerful that people do share that just gives you so much perspective or that really inspires you to keep following your heart and your dreams?
Yeah. I like to ask people when we're leading into conversations about their wishes, essentially, for end of life. I ask them, what's most important to you now? Because especially as we age, if our bodies become 70, 80, 90, 100 years old, if we start looking for medical problems, we're really going to find things. And
Yeah.
at a certain point, it's not the most loving thing to give someone a full-time schedule of doctor's appointments and tests and labs and for what? A human body is not meant to be here forever. So having those heart-to-heart conversations of what's most important to you. And most people want to spend quality time with their family. They want to do things that they enjoy and them, bring their hearts to life, right?
Mm,
Like they want to
mm,
connect and they want to enjoy.
mm,
So
mm.
why are we not doing that all the time now? We should be connecting with the people that are right in front of our face. We should be helping each other, serving with our gifts, using our talents, doing things just because they're fun, because
Yeah.
life can be fun. Eating food that tastes good, like, yes, nourish your body, but we don't have to be so restrictive and playing by the rules in every area. It's like you're allowed to play.
That's
Just
such gold, right? Like that is just such gold. You use the words connect and joy. And I really feel like this is what we're seeking, right? When it comes down to it, we so often believe that what we're seeking is in the external, that's in the job or in the how upgraded house or in the relationships or in the money in the bank. And when it all boils down, like that right there, like, and that is also when you talk about connection and joy, like that's the nature. Joy is the nature of our soul. I taught yoga for many, many years, and like our inherent nature is boundless joy. And how often are we allowing ourselves to dwell in that frequency for no other reason but just for the pure enjoyment of it, to experience it, and to be in this community and connection like we are doing right now. I think this is why I love podcasting so much, is because I get to connect with you. You're on the other side of the world. We came together quite serendipitously, obviously meant to meet, and we share similar things, right? Because we are channeling from a greater wisdom that moves through me, it moves through you, and guess what? It moves through everyone else. And that connection is like expands your heart, brings tears to your eyes. It's so powerful. And yet, how many of us, and you can ask yourself this if you're listening to this podcast, like how many of us are allowing ourselves, I love that word allowing, like allowing ourselves to be in the joy vibration just in your day, just for the hell of it.
yeah, that's a powerful question. I struggled with that honestly for a long time because I find joy to be a very vulnerable
Mhm.
emotion. And I not so much anymore, but I used to just be waiting for things to crumble. So I could feel joy for a second and then immediate fear, immediate anxiety of like what wave is about to crash and hit me next. So you have to be brave, especially in our
Mm,
world today. You have to be brave to let joy in. You do, because it can feel really vulnerable to open your heart to feel good. So
mm,
I think
mm.
it's easier said than done to
Yeah,
just feel joy, but I had to work to allow myself to feel joy.
yeah,
I had to calm my nervous system around things to let it feel safe to feel joy.
yeah.
So if you feel like it's hard for you, you're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it can be triggering as well. And this again comes back to this conversation around receivership as well. Like, can you let in the things in your life that might bring you joy, that might spark joy inside of you? And sometimes that might mean like looking at a funny reel or watching a funny show or like, because I think that
Starting so
we've,
small.
yeah, those little things that we have access to, but we don't often allow in because we deprioritize it. We push it down the road. Once I've done this, then I'll let myself feel that. Once I've achieved this, then I can feel it. Once I've made this amount of money, and we're just continually kicking that can down the
Yep.
road because there's never that it's just like we're insatiable, right? It's never going to be feel enough to let ourselves feel that. So yeah, I mean, that's an ongoing journey for all of us. I feel like everyone here who exists on the planet Earth right now can do something with those teachings, because there's always more that we can let ourselves receive in that way. And as we know, joy is also infectious, contagious, and I think some people are here just to purely spark joy in other people, and what a worthy pursuit with that as well. So
And I'm thankful for children for that
yeah,
regard. Kids are so good at finding delight in the everyday. My 2-year-old woke
absolutely.
up today at 5:18 this morning to come into my bed because she needed to eat oatmeal right then. And so we went downstairs and I pour the oatmeal in the bowl and I add the water and she wants to eat it right away. And I said we have to, heat it up first so it gets soft. She says, "I'm gonna cook you so good, you beautiful oatmeal." And just the delight and excitement
Yeah,
over, I mean, rolled oats. I mean, that's probably one of the most bland breakfasts you can have. But what a reminder that we can just find so much joy in the tiniest
yeah,
moments.
yeah. I know. It's such a gift. Oh gosh, I mean, we could continue forever. Let's finish with one question.
Sure.
If there's someone that's listening to this podcast that's going through an uncertain season, and again, I feel like probably bulk of people right now are going through an uncertain season because there is a lot of uncertainty. What is one reminder or practice that you'd love to leave them with to help them trust in the beauty of their own becoming, the beauty of the season that they're
Yeah.
in?
I would invite them to slow down and tune in. So less scrolling, more
Mm,
time either out in nature or praying, meditating, finding space to connect with the divine, to know how supported and loved you are. It's so grounding to be reminded that we are part of something bigger. There are divine plans at work. We can't see where it's headed, but it doesn't mean it's not good.
yeah.
And then finding connection, whether that's a loved one, a friend, a community like this, being connected makes everything easier. So no matter what you're going through, having people by your side will make it easier. So
100%.
tuning in and finding a way to connect. Those are the two non-negotiables.
Beautiful. And how can people connect with you, Lauren? What's the best way?
Yeah, I am on Instagram at your coach Lauren, and I have a website, stackpolecoaching.com. So
I'll put all
you
of that in the
you can
notes, in the show notes.
what's upcoming in my becoming. You can see what's next.
And thank you for being here and just sharing where you're at, honestly, in that in between. And right, this is part of it, is that we don't always need to see the shiny accolades and the end results. I think when we can just be honest with where we are in our own becoming, it's so refreshing and inspiring, and we're able to connect our hearts in that way. So thank you for being you, and also for continuing to say yes to your mission. I know it can be a lot to juggle work and your heart-led work and the beautiful work of raising three girls and being a mother. I see you do your running on Instagram with your husband. Like, I've just started running. My husband's
I
gonna
so
laugh. He's a runner. My husband is a runner. He's like, you shared on the podcast the other day that you've started running. He's like, you've been doing it for like 2 weeks, like, and all of a sudden I'm calling
exciting.
myself a runner.
Good for you. I think if you are running, you're a runner.
I'm a
That's how I feel.
runner.
You are. But I think both of our husbands do ultra marathons.
They do. They do.
So they do a different level of running.
They do. I love it. I love the similarity. So I think that you are inspiring. Thank you so much for just being you and showing up, because likewise, I know it's not always easy, but the people that benefit from that, and I know you would never say no to your soul's curling, and thank goodness for that. So thank you for
Well,
being
thank
you.
Thank you for having me. I could talk to you forever, so I appreciate your wisdom and all.
Yeah, yeah. And you're in the Abundance Club. You're part of my Abundance Club membership, and I want to get you in as well in sharing more and being a part of that as well. So I think women coming together and having the different voices in being able to share and it's 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 so beautiful. It's so
Magical.
impactful.
Magical.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.